image.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah, Alison was worried about going that big. I was like, nah, let's go as big as possible.
Yeah, that looks really good. So when you're, if you are doing installs, make sure that, first of all, you have business insurance, that you're covered to go into somebody's property to do installations. And if you're timid, nervous about doing installations, hire a professional to do it. Build it into your cost. If it's going to be, a sale where you're going to include it with, make sure and have that revenue built in, or just have a flat fee. If somebody says, do you install? You can say, yes, I can. I have somebody that I work with and it is X amount of dollars per hour. That way you're safe in case of damage or anything like that. You want to make sure that you're taking care of on that end of things. People always ask, how do you figure out gaps? Okay, so you want to eliminate as much guess out of your measurements as possible. So like I was saying, I'm going to measure to my center mark, which you can see the little arrow coming down here. Okay, so we're at 23 and a half. Okay, now on a grouping, I will typically do 2 inches, maybe 3 inches in the middle. So I'm going to go with 2 on this because we're already going to get pretty tall. So we're going to measure up 25 and a half. I have my measurement across the back. So we're going to go up 25 and a half over to that same measurement, and then we'll put the next 2 on. When you're looking at a space, and when I was first talking to Alison and Chris, like this wall has this cool architectural element with the brick showing through and where the plasters come off. You want to respect that, especially in a studio that has such great work and such contemporary style. You don't want to just like put stuff everywhere. You want it to look like a gallery. So we worked within the architecture of the wall and tucked this vertical collage to the left and above the chair. It fits perfectly in there. It's a great product. It'll have a lot of impact when somebody walks into the room. So we hope you dig it. This is going to be fun. I think you're really going to enjoy it. When we're working on redesigns, we're constantly looking at new design styles, trends, things that we can recommend to clients for their images that make cool, new, unique products, potentially using pieces of other elements that already exist. So this is going to be a perfect example of that. We're designing what I like to call a closed grouping. So this is our woodland walnut frame. We're using our single thick white mats. These are luster prints with standard acrylic over the top of them. But if you've been watching any of the other design series, you'll notice that they always have gaps between them. There's going to be a 2-inch or a 3-inch or whatever that may be that's standard throughout. With this one, we're actually going to hook these all together. So at the final product, which you'll see here in a little bit, when we pick this up, it's all going to move as one piece. So it's very easy to sell 4 pieces as one product, and there's endless configurations that you can do to these. This happens to be a 4-piece, and since we are in a shared space for Asymmetry, we have to make this look like a little bit more like commercial art. So even though this is a high school senior, their imagery is that it really fits more of a commercial, edgier model style. So you'll notice some close-ups in this that almost look like product photography, and it works perfect for the session, for the design of the collage and all that stuff. So we're gonna assemble it along the way, and then at the end, we'll show you what the finished product looks like. I'm so excited how this turned out. It's so fun to be looking at concepts and designing and working with fun clients and end up with a cool result like this. So again, just to kind of recap what we did in the video here, we took 4 woodland walnut framed prints. So we have a 2020, 1624, 2 8x12s. We purposely matted 2 and left 2 without mats. And that is perfectly fine to combine into a contemporary gallery wall, closed grouping, traditional gallery wall. There are no rules. You can show whatever you'd like to. So everything is bracketed together on the back. So now this moves as one piece. So we measured the full width on this piece is roughly 46 1/4. We brought the brackets in about a 1/2 inch. So we have a 45 1/4 inch base that this is hanging on. There's a screw down here, screw up there. It's hanging on the wall very securely, so it's not gonna walk around on us. And I think it's a fantastic presentation. You could add to it. There's really no rules with this. You know, with a negative space, it'd be very easy down the road to add something in here, add something in there. Big, small, whatever. You could continue to grow this however you want. As long as you have your anchor points, prices aggressively, has a huge impact, and retail wise could really make your studio a lot of revenue on the backside. Always important to have a traditional single print wall portrait on the wall. In addition to all your groupings, it gives the eye a rest. There's a lot of people that love a large wall portrait single, and you definitely don't want to discourage that because that's a great profit center for you. Pick an image that has a lot of impact. This one definitely does. When we were discussing with Alison and Chris about doing the installation, she said that when they are doing groupings, this is their method of doing installation. So they are cutting out pieces of paper and laying them out on the wall. And she said, especially with the sawtooth hangers, it's helpful to where they lam the screws. So we did that, put it up on the wall. We have the same gap around. You can see that they've used like chalk or a pencil to mark where the sawtooth is at. So we've gone ahead, measured in between, leveled them, and in theory, everything should be straight and balanced correctly. Okay, fingers crossed. So this is not necessarily the way that I do this, but there's always multiple ways to get things accomplished. And if this would make you feel more comfortable, this is a great way to do it.
That looks great. Yeah, I like the spacing width of the wall.
That's gonna really sell. Images are awesome, colors are awesome, composition's awesome. It's what they're gonna look at when they're sitting in here. Welcome to day 2, everybody. We got everything except for this big gallery wall installed yesterday. And knowing that this one was going to be a little bit more of a head scratcher, it was kind of towards the end of the day yesterday, and you want to do stuff like this when you're fresh and you're caffeinated. This grouping is going to be 10 pieces. It is the woodland walnut with a single white mat, luster prints, and standard acrylic. You're going to have a 3-inch gap all the way around, but the sizes are all mixed, and the design of the grouping is working around the lamp in the corner. So this is actually going to build around and step over and keep going up. So it's important just to take your time, slow down, make sure that you're getting the first ones especially placed in the right spot, and you don't run out of room left, right, or top. Okay, so let's take a peek at this back here. Why don't you walk with me? So difference being when you're doing wire hanger versus the corner brackets is you can pull tension onto the wire and you can get really close to where it's going to be. But what we're doing today is we're using like the outside diameter of the frames, measuring off of those coming down and in, versus with like corner brackets or sawtooths where they're very literal. They are going to be where they're going to be, and you can make a pattern of them. These become a little bit more challenging because you have to go down, over, pull tension, measure up from the bottom, measure down from the top, and get the gaps and stuff correctly. So thus far, cross fingers, we've done pretty well.